previous video, we started with the following use case and we ended up with a dashboard having an object list and a scoreboard showing the KPIs of the selected VM. In this video, we will learn how to extend that dashboard to help us troubleshoot a virtual machine. To do this, we will resize and rearrange the widgets on the dashboard and add another widget, the metric chart, to the dashboard to show the KPIs, the selected KPI, over a period of time. Okay, let's get started. We edit the dashboard. We resize the widgets, and as you can see, the widgets snap to the grid. Now we have enough free space to place the metric chart right next to the scoreboard. For better readability, we reconfigure the scoreboard widget and select two box columns, so now we can easier read the metric names. Now onto the metric chart widget configuration. As we get the metric from the scoreboard, the self-provider is off and the input transformation is self, so we consume just the metric we receive. There is no output data, no output configuration, no output filter. We change the name of the widget and save it. In the next step, we need to configure the interaction between widgets. So the scoreboard widget sends the selected metric to the metric chart, and this time this is the orange colored connection between those widgets. So now anytime we click on a metric in the scoreboard, this metric is being sent to the metric chart and it's added to this chart. So it's not replacing the previous metric, it is added to the metric to the display. And you can of course go and remove metrics from the metric chart. Since we have plenty of unused space on that dashboard, we edit it again and we resize the metric chart widget so it can display easily more than one selected metric. We save the dashboard and now we can proceed to the next step. In this step, we add the Advanced Object Relationship widget and the Top Alerts widget to the dashboard. We can also resize the widgets on the dashboard to better use the available space and have a nice looking dashboard at the end. Now let's configure the Object Relationship widget. As always, first we rename the widget, the self-provider is off as we are receiving the object, and now the most important part, the inventory tree we select for this Object Relationship widget. So what is an inventory tree? As objects in VROps can have relationships to many different objects, an inventory tree provides an easy way to limit the display of those relationships to a certain tree or traversal spec. For example, focusing only on vSphere objects or only on NSX objects or any other context. Those inventory trees or traversal specs are provided by the VROps itself or are delivered together with the solutions or management packs. In our widget, we set the inventory tree to vSphere hosts and clusters, and we set the number of levels for children and parent objects to 5. As there is no additional configuration to this widget, we need to set up the interaction between the object list and the relationship widget. Now we can go to the object list, select a virtual machine, and the object relationship widget shows us all the related objects, like the ESXi host where the VM is running on, the vSphere cluster, the data center, the data store, etc. We can zoom in and zoom out and also fit the view to the size of the widget. If you would like to start the inventory tree at the vCenter level, for example, we go to the configuration and we change the parent depth to 3. Let's configure the Top Alerts widget. As always, we rename the widget. We specify what alerts we would like to see based on their impact, In our case, we would like to see all alerts. As we want to see the alerts for the selected object itself, we set the input transformation to self. And now, of course, we need to set up the interaction between the relationship widget and the alerts widget. Now, anytime we click on an object in the relationship widget, we will see the active alerts on exactly that object, like for example for the virtual machine or the selected cluster in here. And finally, we have a working VM troubleshooting dashboard where we can select a VM. We quickly see the KPIs for that VM. If we click on a KPI on a metric, we see that metric over time. We can select multiple metrics. We also see all the related objects to that VM. And if we click on one of those objects, we see the active alerts. In this video, you have learned how to improve the simple dashboard we have created in the previous video, how to resize and move widgets on the canvas, and how the relationships widget works based on object relationships and inventory trees. In the next video, we will learn how to create another more complex dashboard. Thank you for watching this video and make sure you don't miss the next part.